Hey everybody, and welcome to this Spotlight interview. This is Kelly Fidel, CEO and founder of No Glass Ceiling. And I'm always really excited and honored to just be surrounded with some amazing people that some of them I've known for many years, others are new into my life. And I get to bring them to you so that I can share what I know about them and their expertise and their genius zone to you so that you can learn and see different perspectives. So today with me, I have someone very special. He's been in my world for, wow, I want to say 8 years. I honestly, it's been so long, I'm sure he'll tell me. Cliff Pelloni. So Cliff is the CEO and founder of eFluential Marketing. He is a published author. He works with some of the most powerful authors around the country and around the globe. And he is also the author and the CEO of Kitchen Dads, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I want to share with you just a high-level version before I formally introduce Cliff. First of all, Cliff has actually published my own books and handles all of our press releases. And if you know me at all or you're new to my world, I'm very protective about the No Glass Ceiling brand. So I only work with people that really, really are professional and that really understand the demands in our business. And we're demanding because you're demanding, and we expect to have the best experience for you. So if you've ever wanted to be a published author, understand, how does that really work? So what? I have a book. Like, what are the benefits of really publishing a book, and what does that mean for me? You know, there's so many things that we're going to be talking about today. So how you can really get recognized as an authority in your marketplace, and also how to really increase visibility to your customers and to your prospects. And Cliff and I will really even be talking about how to build your platform with a book as the foundation. Now look, you're not going to go out and make $5 million selling your book tomorrow. Maybe someday, who knows? But we'll talk about what that foundation is and how you can earn money from that knowledge. Book speaking gigs, get media appearances, attract joint venture partners, other partner opportunities, and at the end of the day, increase the respect and the prestige in your industry and serve your tribe wildly. So, Cliff, I'm so excited.
Hi, Kelly.
Happy to see you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, so just share with everybody your background.
Well, sure. And like, as you said, I'm the CEO of eFluential Marketing and eFluential Publishing. I also created a course, Idea to Author Academy. In short, I help people publish books and profit from them. And kind of to expand on that a little further, I help people clarify their message, get laser focused, and then publish their inspirational professional book with ease while having fun. My goal is just to help people monetize their message and publish their passion. You know, the way I got into publishing is kind of interesting. Like many people, I came out of corporate. I was in corporate for many years. I worked at various levels. I had my own company. I worked for startups, mid-level, even Fortune 5 companies, and mostly in the healthcare software industry, sales, marketing, consulting. And a number of years ago, when there was some turmoil in that market, like many people, I got downsized. But I didn't get downsized once. I got downsized twice in 8 months.
That's insane. I can't believe it. I also was in corporate and got downsized. It's a crazy feeling. So talk about that.
It is. It is. And I took it as a sign from the universe that, you know what, it's time to do something else. I was kind of road weary anyway from all the traveling. And my wife and I had just had our second son. So I said, okay, let's try something else. So I started a company. A marketing company. And I was doing video marketing, email marketing, and search engine optimization. And it was good. It was, it was small. I had a handful of customers. They're great. I loved them. They loved me. But it was a battle to try to get new customers because I was spending a lot of my time just trying to convince them to let me talk to them. Not even like how I could help them, but just why they should even spend any time with me. So I thought about it, and I've always loved books. As a kid, I'd spend summers in the library reading books. And at that time, there was a phrase that kept going on in my head. It was like, he's the expert on it. He actually wrote the book on it. And I'm like, oh yeah, if you write a book and you share your knowledge, you're going to be the expert. And so that's what I wanted to do. So I did it. I wrote a little book. It wasn't much, but it was a great little book called What's Your eFluence? And it was amazing that once I started to use that book, I used the link in emails to Amazon page. I gave it out at sales meetings. I prospected with it. I sent it in advance. And all of a sudden, the conversations went from not, oh, you know, why should I even spend my time talking to you? It's like, oh, hey, Cliff, how can you help us? So that whole credibility piece, it was the book.
That is so fantastic. And you are a book reader and you've published so many books. In fact, I am certain that when people are watching you, they're probably thinking that's a very cool background, but are those real books?
Oh yes, these are real books. You can see, you can pick them up. You know, this is one of the books I did recently, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But the problem that I have in my house that, you know, there's never enough room for books. I like to read them, I like to collect them, I speed read them. You know, I read them electronically, but for me, there's something about just holding a book in your hand. So, so yes, I love books, and I want to help people bring their book out.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm with you. I like to hold a book in my hand. I really do. And I do see my book up there, and you probably have it in front of you.
I have a copy, yes. This is the first edition, and I think we're actually going to redo it and update it. So, but it's just nice, something about holding this book and giving it as a present to someone. You know, using your book and handing it over to a business associate or someone as a lead. I mean, it's great to have little electronic books, and there's a place for those. But physical books will never go out of style. They'll always be around.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you know, there is something interesting that when you read a book the first time and the take that you get from it, right? The information. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've made notes in a book and then I've gone back to the book a little bit later. And I have tried electronic books, and some people love them. And maybe I'm just old school. But to find it again and then try to look at it. So I want to talk about books because books are interesting. I mean, my books that you have helped me write are, of course, there are Kindle versions, but there are also the hardcover versions. And yes, we're going to be redoing it so that it's available for No Glass Ceiling this fall. But let's talk about, like, it can be very overwhelming in book publishing. And so can you talk a little bit about self-publishing versus traditional publishing or getting a publishing deal?
Sure. And, you know, it used to be that was the only way to go. If you wanted to publish a book, you had to pitch your idea to one of the big publishing houses, and then very small percentage of people actually got a publishing deal. And then, you know, the advent of self-publishing and the availability of that came around, which is great. But you know, there was always such a small segment of people that could get their books published, and really now there's really just a small segment of people who can benefit from that. Because you know, I know some people in the industry and their agents and their book agents, and they've told me, it's like, look, we're not even going to entertain you unless you have, you know, X amount of following, this many people on Facebook or Twitter or Insta, or you know, you have an email list, or you already have a book. They want to know that if they're going to invest into you, that's going to be success. And then, you know, at the same time, you're not getting much out of it. I mean, they control the book. You know, they own the rights. You're going to maybe make $1 on the book. You know, you just maybe get an advance, probably not. And you know, most of the people I help are, you know, consultants and coaches and entrepreneurs, and you know, like we've talked about it. You know, I've worked with NFL stars, international speakers, television personalities. I've even worked with little old ladies who publish a book to run women's shelters. So those type of people use their books to sell more of what they have, and not try to get a book deal from a big company. And it's just hard. I mean, you know people in the industry that used to have book deals, and now they can't get them anymore.
Right. I mean, I do. I know, a lot of influencers, and I think it's important for everyday, like ordinary people who want to do extraordinary things to know that you can be a book publisher. I have worked with and still work with private clients and tremendous influencers. And yes, some of these influencers have had $100,000 book deal, $1 million book deal. And, it sounds sexier than it is, because the challenge is that oftentimes the publisher will take 80% of those royalties, and all the sales come off the top, go back to them for reimbursement. Now, it depends on the book deal, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not about the deal, because self-publishing is tremendous. I like to have control of my masters, so we've always self-published, and you've helped us do that. But, one of the things I want to talk about, Cliff, is what are some of the obstacles or the stumbling blocks where people want to publish a book and they get stuck?
Sure, it's a great question, Kelly. Because I've worked with so many different people, there seems to be a theme in a couple of different areas of where people get stuck. And really comes down to three things. One, I don't have the time. Two, I'm not sure what to write about. And three, I'm afraid of the publishing tech, or really I'm afraid that my book's not going to look good. So let's go through those real quick. One, I don't have the time. Well, you and I talk about this all the time. Guess what? We have all the time we're ever going to have. We got 24 hours in a day. You're not getting any more. That's it. So it's really not about time. It's about focus. So we work with people and show them how to focus in little chunks, because I'm big about, little steps can make big progress. So it's really about focusing and using your time in ways that you can use some of the strategies that I teach to allow you to get your book done.
Yeah.
Two.
So I love that. I want to jump in here for a second. So it's interesting, because when I first came to you, I was like, I do not have time to do this. And I really, my time is limited, and some people have I'll say available time, right? But we all have the same minutes in a day. And what I love is that you have a structure in place that allowed me to time shift and work very, very quickly. So it eliminated that whole time issue, because it can be overwhelming. Even when I'm doing the rewrite right now, I'm like, Cliff, help. And so for those that are watching and listening, just know that even I have, these stumbling blocks and these obstacles. So that's cool. Let's talk about the next one.
The next one is they're not sure what to write about, because I understand that. I say, look, everybody has a book in them, usually more than one book. And so they get confused on I want to just regurgitate everything I know and put it into a book. Well, for the type of books that we're helping people produce, that's not what you want to do. I mean, if you're a consultant, or if you're a coach or an entrepreneur or a business owner, you're dealing with the public or with your customers. And there's probably questions or information you want them to know during the sales process. But one of the best things to do is to go ask them what their problems are. Ask them where they're having challenges and where they're having difficulties, because you're going to find a theme. And if you do that, that essentially can become the chapters of your book. And then you take each one of those, you take a specific issue that they have, and then you go through and spend 15, 30 minutes and just write out the topics you want to cover under that overarching issue. That way, when you go and start creating content, you know exactly what you're going to talk about. You're not going to wander off. You're going to answer the questions. And the best part is, when you're done with your book, you've got an audience who's just ready for that content, and they're going to go, oh yeah, Cliff gets me. He understands my problems. This other person doesn't, but he knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then they're going to want more of what you offer, more speaking engagements, more consulting time, more courses, more whatever. But that's one problem, one answer. That's the focus of the book. And again, in my training, I provide some free training. We go into it in depth, but that's how you should do a book. And you can do multiple books that way. You've done multiple books. I'm doing multiple books, but you need to focus. You need to focus on the problem, and you need to ask your audience what their concerns and problems are.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because when I first went to do the book and we were talking about it, I was like, okay, no glass ceiling is like, we can talk about everything. Or even Elite Business Mastery, we could talk about everything. And for me, what I really appreciated was where you were able to say, okay, you have all these great ideas. Let's constrain them and say, here's how this particular idea this method, this strategy, these teachings go into this book. And then over here, and so you were able to take what I think where people get stuck is like, what do I talk about? Because sometimes they feel like they can talk about everything or nothing. And for the everything, it's like, where do I start? And they dilute the book instead of keeping it super, micro on a specific topic. I know that was my problem, right? And then on the reverse of that, it's like, I don't know anything. And people get amnesia because they don't see their own skill set, their own genius. And you're able to pull that out of either personality, which I totally love.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the third one. So
the third one, which is funny because I have a lot of people that I work with at various stages, and some people come to me with a manuscript. They've actually been able to, punch out a manuscript. And they were like, what do I do now? And I call this part the publishing tech, right? So it's great that we're able to self-publish now, but it doesn't mean that it's easy, right? It's very confusing. And the underlying issue about this is they're afraid their book is not going to look good, or it's not going to look professional, or it's going to scream self-published book, right? I see those all the time. I see those from people, that in the industry, and they're like, here's my book. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a representation of you and your work, a professional book, an inspirational book. And if it looks bad, you don't want that to be your first impression. I liken it to, if I've got an issue, let's say I got something stuck, I got something on my hand I need to take off, right? I'm going to find the best surgeon I can, someone who's experienced, who's had a lot of referrals. I'm not going to say, oh, well, my cousin Jimmy had a fish hook in his hand one day and he was able to pull it out, so maybe he can help me and I can pay him $10 and maybe a 6-pack or something, right? This is the area where you need to use professionals. You need to have professional cover designers. You need to have professional editors. You need to have professional interior designers, not just people who can format, but actually an interior design. And they need to be specific to the publishing industry because, and I've gone through this. I'm speaking from experience. Just because someone's great at a logo doesn't know they know how to design a book cover, right? Or just because my aunt used to be an English teacher, this isn't, she's not going to be excellent at editing the book the way I want it to read, right?
Right.
So it's, and then we have all the other things about, setting up accounts, where do you publish, how do you market it, all, doing bestseller launches, all that other stuff. But what it comes down to is that if there's an area where people need to invest in and find a way to work with professionals, that's the area, the publishing tech area.
I love that. What I really dig about what you do, Cliff, is that publishing can be very expensive. It can be 30 grand, 40 grand. I know that when people invest with you, it is nowhere near that, a fraction of that. And yet you help people get books published. And so how can publishing a book really help someone? Because I'm sure there are people that are like, yeah, it just seems really daunting, or they might not see the value of a book. It's like, yeah, that's for them, but I'm not a book publisher. And I think people don't realize the power of how to leverage. It's not on the front end that the money gets made. I mean, let's face it, how are you going to, unless you're Tony Robbins or John Maxwell or another, Oprah, you're probably not going to make $1 million publishing a $20, $25 book. But the power of a book is what happens after that, right? So how can publishing a book really help someone?
Yeah, Kelly, you're exactly right. And when I talk to people, when I work with my clients one-on-one, one of the first things we do in our conversation is I let them know, I ask them what they want to do with this book and what is their expectations of this book to do for them, right? And occasionally we get those people, I want to sell 1 million copies. And I said, okay, well, that's great. I'm going to keep that intention for you, but that's not why we're here. Why we're here for your book is to help you sell more what you have, to get more speaking engagements, to sell more courses, to get more authority, to be able to access places and people that you wouldn't normally do because you compete with everybody else. And I've seen it over and over again. I've seen, customers that I work with during the process, they're struggling to get into organizations or do speaking engagements. And the next thing you know, even just putting out the fact that they have a book cover and my book's coming out, all of a sudden they're getting attention and they get more speaking engagements. I have a television personality who wants to do more conventions, right? And before it was just, hey, it's me. Now she's got a book and she's got a course and she can promote it. She does book signings. it's going to give you more authority. It's going to give you more credibility. It's going to allow you access to people in places that you probably normally wouldn't have. And it can be the beginning of a funnel. I mean, a lot of people out there use their book as the beginning of the funnel or as an introduction to new customers. And that's an easy, great way to do it.
I love that. I love that. I think it's fantastic. And you know what I really respect about you, Cliff, is that you eat your own cooking. And there is a pun intended here, right? Because a lot of book publishers will say, yeah, here's what you do and talk at you. But you're a published author and you actually use your own system. And for those of you that are watching and listening, like I said, Cliff and I have known each other for a very long time. And Cliff has been my client and is my client, and I am his client. And that's very rare that you have an opportunity to have this really symbiotic relationship. And I actually knew Cliff for years and did not know that he is an amazing gourmet chef. I call it gourmet because I'm a football mom. Like the way we cook is, 30 eggs, 5 packages of bacon, and 2 packages of bagels or more, in the mornings. But what I really love is that we were at one of my mastermind retreats and we stayed in a huge mansion, and you were there and you go, look, here's the grocery list. I'll do all the cooking. And I was like, dude, here's the credit card. Go get whatever you want. And you cooked. And that's when I heard about Kitchen Dads, which is amazing. So will you share with everyone Kitchen Dads and how you use the system too?
Sure. And you're right. And I not only do I talk about publishing, but I want to use myself as an example. And I want to use myself as an example, not just like to write a book about publishing, but in some other topic, right? So as you said, I'm a big cook. My mom was German, my dad's Italian, so we had lots of good food. I'm the cook in the family. And so a number of years ago, I wanted to record some family recipes for my boys. I thought it'd be cool, as they get older, maybe grandchildren could see me making the family recipes. So I recorded some recipes and I put it on YouTube and I called it Kitchen Dads. And I don't know, a few weeks later, I get a call from Food Network Casting saying, hey, we want you to come out to try to be on the next Food Network star, because there's not many dads that cook. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Now, I couldn't go because they want me to come like for 2 months. But I said, there's something here. So I did some more. And then I ended up, I was the winner in the National Create TV /PBS Create Cooking Challenge 2 years in a row. One of the winners. And I've grown a YouTube channel. It just as a hobby. I think we're over 5,000 people now. I did a book, it came out with Kitchen Dads, the basics, because I want to get more dads and grads in the kitchen. I've used my book to get interviews in the newspaper, articles. I've had sponsored videos. Companies have contacted me to get sponsored videos. From a community standpoint, I've done food demonstrations and book signings. And I'm even working right now on a TV pilot, which is around food and dads. So you're right. Not only, I talk the talk, but I walk the walk too.
I absolutely love that. And, I'm listening to you. And first of all, I'm so proud of you. I just think that, what you're doing is amazing, and you're very humble, and you talk about it like, we're going to order a cheeseburger. And I will tell you that it is very spectacular what you do. And candidly, I'm listening going, oh my gosh, I need to leverage my book. I need to bring it back to life. When we update it, like I need to implement some of these things. And so, thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Kelly, I really, really enjoy helping people get their message out. And so I do a lot of work one-on-one, which I love, but I figured what's the best way that I could leverage that? So I created an online course, an academy, basically self-idea to author. And I put together a free training, and it's accessible to anybody. I call it, hey, finally get your book from your head to your hand, right? How to avoid the biggest traps, pitfalls, and challenges when publishing a book and go from idea to author with ease, even if you have no time, hate writing, and lack clarity. So,
okay, so I love this. So just so that everyone that's watching, I actually asked Cliff to put something together special for you. I normally don't say, hey, do you want to, make an offer, an invitation, but I will tell you that because I am a client and because I love what Cliff does and I have such a deep respect, and he will be at No Glass Ceiling this fall. So please go to noglassceiling.com and check out our live events. And he will be there, and you'll be able to see him in person and see all the really cool things that he has. And he's a sponsor and he's an exhibitor. So, please do come and visit us. But Cliff, we talked about this, right? And I was like, is there something that you can put together for people? A video, a training, a workbook kind of thing. And you did that. So I just would really like you to take some time, talk about Idea to Author, which is an amazing name. And will you just share with everybody like what it is, where they can go, if you have a website, and how they can connect with you?
Sure. And at first, I do want to say that the reason that it exists now is because we've worked together, and that even when we're not talking, your voice is in the back of my head, and it's like, oh, I got to get done because, I don't know when, but I'm gonna talk to Kelly and she's going to ask me what I've done on this. Right. And, it's been a while in the making. And so, thank you, because if it wasn't for you, I'd still be trying to work on it. Right. So finally I committed and we're going to get it done. The Academy, it's an online publishing course for people that maybe are not ready to work with me one-on-one, but they have a book or they have a message and they want to get it out. I put everything that I do with my clients into this course. I'm really proud of it. It's a high touch. I know the areas where you need help. It has training modules. It has handout. It has me answering your questions, plus a whole bunch of bonuses. But even then, like you said, you asked me to put something special together. So I put together a training, right? So even if you're just getting started, and this is my way to kind of say thank you, is to just take a few steps. And it's four videos, short videos, so you can consume them. I give them to you all at once. And it's a little workbook that I made with it, so you can do the exercises with the videos. Because if you write things down, you're going to retain them better. So I want you to write them down. And it's free, and it's totally free. You just go to ideatoauthor.net and enter your email, and you'll get access to the videos and the workbook. And from there, it's going to get you from the starting gate, from your head. It's going to get it from your head to start to move it to your hand.
So I love this. So if you hear this, it's ideatoauthor.net. Now, I have already seen all the curriculum. We have been working together on this. I've seen the workbooks. I've seen the videos. I've had access to behind the scenes. And I will say, go to ideatoauthor.net. And I can promise you that the way it looks today, it may not look the same. I really believe that Cliff should be charging for this, but he is not, because he's here to serve you and really help you. So, Cliff, I just want to close out with, I'll turn it back over to you in a second, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for helping people that want to go from the idea in their head and the passion in their heart to becoming an author, because it can be so daunting. And you do make that process really, really easy. Whether, it's a big influencer or it's just an ordinary person like myself or you or, some of the other people that we know and the clients that you have. It's just spectacular what you do. And you make it so easy. That's what I love about it. So any final words, anything that you want to just share with people in general?
Sure. And again, Kelly, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's what gets me jazzed is because, if you think about it, everyone has a book in them. No matter what, if you live your life, you have a book, and it may not be specific to like a business topic. Like Sylvia, my author Sylvia, she's run women's shelters for abused and battered women and children for many, many years. She did a life story, a book about her life story. She's leveraged that to get, tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees. She's been invited to events. She's been invited to international book fairs across the seas. They're looking at it to maybe make her life story into a movie. Everybody has something to share. Nothing gets me more jazzed up working with somebody that we work together. And the one day I go to the mailbox or I hear the doorbell ring and I rip open the package and there's a book and it's physical and it's there and they're always an author. This is something they have forever. I leave my books on my coffee table because I'm proud of them, but it's also a great conversation starter. And people, you'll be proud of yourself when you get this done, because this is something that you always do. And there's a lot of people publishing books, but it still takes some effort. And if you can publish your book, and everything that's going to bring you, if nothing else, you're going to be proud of yourself, and it's something that you're going to have forever. You're a published author forever, probably a best-selling author forever. And so I just ask people, make the first step, do some of the exercises, do some of the things. There's people out there right now that need the knowledge and experience and the things that you're offering to help them get them out of situations, and you never know who you're going to impact. So get it out of your head and get it in your hand.
I absolutely love that. I'm big on legacy, right? And so what I have really discovered is that I went in to creating my book with the intent of course, business and monetizing it, because it's my natural first default where I love to go. And when the book came to me, I'm going to get choked up. I thought, wow, this is actually a legacy piece. It is a piece of me that I get to leave behind to those that may not ever have had the chance to meet me in person. And also for my family and for my children and my grandkids or great grandkids, where I'll be long gone, and they can read that and go, wow, man, she was actually pretty smart and kind of cool. And so, it allows you to go to a place in the future that you will never see. And so I just want to say thank you. And for those of you that are watching, I really hope that you enjoyed this spotlight interview with Cliff Pelloni. Go to idea2author.net. Really loved just spending some time and being with you. Please join us at No Glass Ceiling Live this fall. Really looking forward to it. And again, just really, really appreciate you, Cliff. So happy to spend time together. So until next time, we will see you very soon.